Hello, I'm Rico Cavella, and welcome to this episode of Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and I, we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger positive impact in the world. So I'm real excited about the title of today's episode because this is so critical, and the title is Tapping into a Wellness State of Mind. It's a transformational healing process. And our expert guest today, her name is Anita Bains. She has more than 20 years practicing as a counselor and transformational life coach. She believes in everyone's innate ability to heal. She is passionate about supporting people on their journey to higher consciousness to create the life they truly desire. When limiting beliefs and dysfunctional patterns are desensitized in the brain and nervous system, new empowering belief patterns are naturally integrated that enhance life giving emotional experiences. So, Anita Bains, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Rico. I'm so excited about being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, well, I really like I love your work. What you're doing is so important because, more and more we're learning that, everything that manifests in our physical body begins in our mental, emotional state. And really, the biggest thing that we have going on that blocks us from being highly successful in every aspect of our life is those limiting beliefs and that we all have. So this is going to be something that's going to be real valuable. And I want to tell our audience to be sure and stay to the end because Anita has a really generous offer for you. She's offering you a 45-minute, a complimentary 45-minute transformational consultation. So stay till the end, and we'll let you know how you can contact with Anita. So, well, let's begin. Just kind of briefly tell us a little bit about your journey. How you came to learn all this stuff and why you do what you do.
Well, let me begin why I do what I do. I recall a client. He was 19 years old and he wasn't able to go to sleep because he couldn't, or he wasn't able to go to school. And so he, at 19, did not drive, did not have a girlfriend, did not have friends. He was so distressed and he was in trouble because he couldn't even get to the special school. So I worked with him. I did the energy release techniques. I did the emotional freedom technique, EMDR, and other techniques. And he released these. So I thought, well, that's great. He stopped coming. And about 2 months later, he came back and said, Miss Anita, I want to show you my girlfriend. I want to tell you. And I have gone back to school. I learned to drive, and all because he cleared these old patterns that kept him stuck. So when I think of him and others that I've helped, I just get such a warm feeling in my chest and my body. And I have always been interested in helping people. And so when I had a chronic condition myself, I had Lyme disease and many of the co infections. I was very sick. And so I sought out alternative treatments because the traditional Western medicine didn't have a solution for me.
Mhm.
And they even indicated it was all in my head. So I knew that this was my journey. And so I attended all kinds of workshops and holistic things, changed my diet, and cleared out all the doubts and fears that were keeping me in the past. So that's how I did it.
Well,
And that's how I keep doing it.
yeah, really good work, and I totally understand because I know I feel the same way. Whenever I work with one of my clients, to get them in better shape. also mentally and physically, and you see the progress they make and how much it really improves their quality of life. It's so satisfying. So yeah, we're very fortunate that we're able to help people in that regard. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, we all have these limiting beliefs, and I just want to state, the way thing I think most people probably understand this, but it's a great concept that our beliefs are creating our reality. So whatever we're believing, what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're feeling, is what creates the actions that we take. And of course, the actions that we take create our reality, what's actually going on. So it's so important to understand that and realize that we do have all these limiting beliefs and things that hold us back. So talk a little bit about, why this happens. I mean,
Sure.
why is it that we all of us have all these things that are holding us back, and it's really our these limiting beliefs that are holding us back from success in every aspect of life.
Exactly, Rico. Well, the person who explains it best for me wrote the book, The Biology of Belief, Bruce
Mhm.
Lipton, and he explains that between the ages of 0, and that means when we're in utero, to um, 5, some people say 7. So until during that period, our brain is like a sponge and it absorbs everything in the environment,
Mhm.
even when we're in utero. So everything we hear when we're in utero, everything we feel is registered. So after, and so we just absorb everything. So if we're told you're never going to amount to anything, you just don't have what it takes. My mother told me, you have the grace of an elephant. Now, elephants are graceful, but she didn't mean that.
Yeah.
So I had difficulty dancing. I love dancing, but I've had difficulty because that thought comes into my mind. So um, the information stays in our subconscious. And then as we go to school, we take all of that information. You're not enough. You're never going to be successful. You're bad. A lot of kids hear those messages. And then the teachers often pile it on by forcing kids to come up in front of the class. And many kids don't want to do that. So those beliefs that we take from our home life, whether it's our parents, whoever our care providers are, we take all of that into school. So any limiting belief we have is just compounded because those are the glasses we see the world through. So even though we're not consciously aware of it, if we think um, I'm not smart enough, which I thought for years. I
Mhm.
had this long list of limiting beliefs. And the top one was, Anita, you're not smart enough. You can't do it alone because you're a girl. So um, the beliefs become compounded and it becomes our lifestyle. So we have a limited lifestyle because of these beliefs that began in the subconscious. And they're really difficult to get. We can't, as Einstein said, you can't solve a problem from the way it was developed. I'm sorry, I misquoted, but that's the idea. So we can't think through resolution. We can't think, oh, I'm really a good person, because the subconscious mind is, Bruce says, it's 90% more powerful than the conscious mind. Our conscious mind is the one that was formed later, and we use that part for creativity, for thinking. but the subconscious mind is like a recorder and it holds all that limiting information.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, I think as we know, yeah, 95% of what we're doing during our daily activities is just run on our subconscious mind. But I don't think that's right. I think our conscious mind can override the subconscious mind, as you know. I mean, we do have that ability, but most people don't even realize it or don't use that. And like
Right.
we're going to talk about some of the technique that you use, how you can override those subconscious beliefs
Sure.
that are holding us back. And I just want to add too. Uh, remember how we used to always hear too much in the news about fake news? It's all fake news. Well, the real fake news that we had to be concerned about is what is the things that we're thinking about. All these negative thoughts that we're having about what's possible in our life and what's not possible, and why is this happening to me? All those things are really the fake news that we just made up, and that's really what's been holding us back. So I think that's an important thing to realize. Okay, so let's talk about. So then, how did you begin to learn some of these techniques and ways that you can desensitize the brain and nervous system, as you mentioned, and so you can overcome all these
Okay.
negative beliefs.
Great. And I just want to hop on to what you just said is there is a very strong a lot is written, don't believe everything you think.
Hmm.
And if you have a thought, it's most likely not true or partially true. So the techniques I use are based in energy psychology. And the contemporary way of understanding everything is that everything is energy.
Hmm.
Every thought we think, um, everything is energy. And so it's difficult for people to grasp, for me to grasp, because we can't see it. But that's what quantum physics does. It looks at the tiny aspects of everything on in the universe. So I was through my education, I began using what I'd been taught in graduate school, and it was mainly talk therapy. And people weren't, they liked talking about their issues, and that's really part of the whole process. But it has to go beyond talking. And so I saw that people weren't really getting well in their thinking. And so I began searching out energy psychology techniques. I learned emotional freedom techniques, and that's the tapping technique. And I trained people in it with Dawson Church. And now there is a lot of research about emotional freedom techniques. And then I learned EMDR from Francine Shapiro, who actually came upon the technique, and many others, too numerous to mention. And then most recently, I'm working with Bill McKenna, who does cogno movement. And one of the fascinating things we're learning is that as Dr. Amen says, our eyeballs are the only exposed part of our brain. So when we move our eyeballs in certain directions, certain positions, the issue that we had, whether it was a memory, a trauma, whatever it is, a physical sensation, um, disappears. So a lot of work is now being explored in different types of eye movements that will release that stuckness.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah,
I just want to add it, and it's quite obvious. It's quite evident, and I really notice it because I interview so many people, and when someone wants to think or recall something, usually their eyes look up. their eyes roll up. They say, "Let me think about that." Then their eyes roll up. That's so interesting. So I've got a short 60-second message here for our audience, and when we come back, then we'll get into more and talk about some of these techniques and how you've helped people using these techniques. All right.
Wake up feeling exhausted, stiff, and sore? Do you feel like no matter how hard you try, those extra pounds won't budge, and the energy and vitality you once had are slipping further away? If this sounds like you, don't give up. Feeling tired and immobile isn't your destiny. It's not too late to take back your energy, your youthful shape, and feel great in your body again. Meet Rico Caveglia, America's healthy aging trainer, creator of the Aging Living Lifestyle and the Vitality for Life Wellness Program. At age 83, Rico has the moves and vitality of someone half his age and has a fitness age of just 35. For over 40 years, Rico has helped hundreds of people just like you regain their energy and vitality. That's agelessliving.lifestyle.com/coaching to learn more and book your free call with Rico to see if you or your parents are a good fit for this transformational program.
All right, we're back with Anita Bains, and we're talking about tapping into a wellness state of mind. I just want to add too, before we get into more about it, it's well known, the how people have instantaneous remission is because they've changed their whole mindset and they begin to believe that they can be well, and their body, then their body responds. But if you don't really believe that your body's going to heal itself, it's probably not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about. Okay, so it's so interesting how we're learning so much more about what our body and our mind requires and our brain requires to heal itself. But so talk about a little bit more about how you work with your clients, and how you apply these techniques, and how they actually really affect them by let's just say that just the tapping and all the different techniques, how that really affects your body and your mind.
Tapping technique, the emotional freedom techniques, we call acupuncture for the emotions without needles. And we are touching energy points used by the Chinese for thousands of years. And so when we tap, it's like releasing the energy that's stuck. And Dawson Church has a website, and so there's another website that has a lot of research. And fortunately, EFT is becoming evidence based. Well, it's evidence based, so it really does work. And then, so people identify what they want to work on. I'm having difficulty with my husband, or we don't communicate, or there's a person at work I just can't get along with, or a 15-year-old, as I'm working with now, who has terrible anxiety. So they come with that issue, and then I ask them to experience the emotion to the greatest intensity. And then often I mix techniques. So I will use EMDR, I will use EFT together. I kind of go with my intuition. And so, for instance, I had a client who came, she has, she thought she had an eating disorder, but I was kind of suspicious that maybe there was more to it. So she explained, I asked her, well, just give me the situation that causes you the most stress when you remember it. Well, her husband collapsed on the floor and he was taken in an ambulance. She was riding in the ambulance and they were having difficulty reviving him. And when she talked about that, I had her stop. We did eye movement and we did tapping. And voila, it was gone. And she just was totally amazed. And so there are just so many examples of people coming in with an issue that they think is going to last forever. And poof, it goes. Now there's a whole series of issues that are more complex, and they require more intense and a little bit more, quite a bit more information. So it depends on the individual. So then we use transformative. I use transformative imagery. Um, Changing. So when people come to this new awareness, oh, it's like a walk in the park. It doesn't bother me anymore. So then I ask them, okay, so what do you want to believe now about this major change that happened? Oh, I believe I'm healthy. So then we do a little exercise to map that in so that that's what they're left with instead of this empty space. Because if people, clear out stuff, then there's an empty space. So I want to fill it with good memories, good thoughts.
Yeah. So would you say? So first of all, we have to be aware that we do have these limiting beliefs that are holding us back, and then and then once you're aware that you are holding yourself back from that, then all these processes can actually work. So would you recommend for somebody who's just listening now and think, well, okay, what can I do? I mean, obviously we want them to come and have that free consultation with you. That's going to be really valuable. But I think the point is what you've been saying all along is too, no matter what's going on in your life that you're not feeling good about, or you're not being successful, you have to go back and realize it's something that you are believing that's holding you back. That's why this is so important to understand that you have the power to let go of those beliefs and create new positive beliefs so you can be successful in what every aspect of your life. So isn't the first thing, okay, first realizing that, and then what I just tell people initially is just whenever you catch yourself with any kind of a limiting belief or anything negative or it's not positive, just stop and say, wait a minute, why am I thinking that? You can just change your belief instantly.
Well, you can, but sometimes it doesn't last forever.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
that is, yeah. And so that's the gift of getting into the subconscious and totally neutralizing it. So when people say oftentimes people will come in with a problem, but that isn't the real problem at all. So
Mhm.
one of the things I ask people to do is, a lot of people have money issues. That's very common.
Mhm.
So I ask people to list the beliefs of their parents or care providers. What were their beliefs about money? I remember my mother used to say, well, you have to pinch pennies. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
And there are, or rich people aren't nice.
Mhm.
And so then there's the fear of getting rich because they might not be nice when they have money.
Yeah.
So I ask people to list what their parents believed, whether it was about money, uh, relationships, family. And so if you write them down and you can see what they are, then you can write the belief that you want to have. So you divide a piece of paper in half and the limiting or negative beliefs and the beliefs you want to replace it with.
Yeah.
And
So
that is helpful.
Yeah, so Anita, we only have about less than a minute to go. So I just want to say again, coaching is known to be the surest and fastest way to achieve any goals, so it's so helpful to get some help. You don't have to try and do it by yourself. So I highly encourage you that you get a hold of Anita. I know she can help you out. And she's offering, again, a very generous complimentary 45-minute consultation. So we'll put that information in the show notes, and so you can contact her. So Anita, thank you so much. That was really good information. I really appreciate you being here. And so I'd like to always end all of our shows with Einstein saying that knowledge without action is useless. It's just recreation. So take advantage of what we offer you here. And if you like today's show, tell your friends about the Fearless Aging Show, where you can stream on all the major streaming channels. So thanks to everybody for being here. We'll see you next time.